everybody, Mikeycat Outdoors here. So what are we doing today? We're out in the Hammock hot tent. It's about 37 degrees right now outside. It's gonna get down to about 28 in the morning. And got the little cheap Chinese diesel heater running. Got some flexible metal dryer vent to extend the heat output into the tent. Went underneath the wall of it a little bit, and got a smaller piece that I took out for the exhaust to run it away so it doesn't stink up the place. Tried it a little bit earlier with some black underground pipe, and a little bit off gassing and stuff, but right now it seems to be alright. It's comfy warm in here. I mean, I got a couple of layers on, but definitely a lot warmer in here than it is outside. It's not as hot as blazing fire in a wood stove, but it's comfortable. So let's check it out. So here's the heart of the heating system for overnight. And got it cranked up to 5 right now. And got the black pipe that comes with it that's metallic. I say I extended it out a little bit with some rigid, flexible aluminum dryer vent, 4-inch there. Ran that underneath the tent. And I got this up on the stand that I made for it. Got the air inlet, and then it draws in air for the heater back here and blows it out the other end here. And then the exhaust, I got coming out of the muffler there, and I got some 3-inch extendable pipe, and I just expanded it a little bit and brought it over. It's about an 8-foot length total, but I didn't extend it out, but maybe, I don't know, 3.5 feet there. But it's good enough. Makes it sound a little hollow, like air blowing through a wind tunnel or something. But that's a sound I'm going to be hearing all night. Just a little whoosh and a little ticking, and yeah, it'll be interesting. So it's warmed up pretty good in here. Got my little Primus isobutane lantern there. Got one of these little thermometers. Whew, now it says 82 degrees. It's warming up. So I think the addition of the lantern has been helping it to get a little toastier in here. But it's definitely warm with that heater cranking. I'll probably have to turn it down at some point. So I got a deep cycle car battery there, and I brought in a extension, a little semi-rigid aluminum dryer vent to add on to the hose that comes out of the diesel heater, and able to extend it out to 8 feet maximum. I extended it out a little ways, probably 5 feet or something, and turns up pretty good. Be able to extend the heat into here, and works fairly well. So I got my HammockGear hammock in here, and hooked on a brand new 0-degree HammockGear underquilt. I got a 0-degree top quilt inside there. So if the temperature ever does drop, I'm going to be plenty warm in here with the quilts alone. Be curious to see how these do compared to the Jacks-R-Better underquilt and top quilt set that I've got. These are in black on the outside and kind of a, barely see it, a gray interior. Kind of contrast against the olive green hammock. It's a good way of color coding stuff for the different seasons. So yeah, I've been anxiously waiting to get back out into the hot tents this winter. So yeah, it's fall time, November, so it's a good time to start up on it. January, February, when it snows, that's the real fun time. But you get to start to work all the kinks out of all the gear and all the processes and stuff in the fall season, and you know, it's not too bad. I mean, it'll get below freezing, but you don't have you know, foot deep of snow or anything this time of the year usually. Once you get around, you know, Thanksgiving, you might get a little dusting, but not too bad. It's not like Colorado or New York or something like that where, you know, you get like 5 feet of snow. Woo! Magic pine cones. Got like turpentine built into them. Picked some of these out of the yard earlier. Got some little furring strips in there. And I got a couple of these compressed wood sawdust logs. So not too bad. I gotta shut that door here in a minute. It's gonna get too smoky in here otherwise. So I brought my little lantern out here, had it sitting near the wood stove, and sitting out here for a few minutes, and I think it got a little too hot and it might have started leaking some gas. So it came back in and there's a bit of a gas smelling vapor in there. That's not good. Always be careful with some of these types of isobutane canisters. You don't want to get them too hot. They could explode. They could do all sorts of bad stuff. Yeah. Oops. So the other part of that I just remembered. I repainted my wood stove after the end of last season, and I don't think I ever burned it in. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't remember, but that could be part of the off-gassing too that I'm smelling. But there was definitely a heavy cloud of something and a strong stink when I walked back into the tent. So I'm trying to air it out a little bit for a while and see what happens. Everybody, just lounging here in the hammock in chair mode. So I got it nice and cozy in here right now between the heat. I turned it down a little bit, and the wood stove cranking right now. It's not really going the highest that it could, but it's still cranking out a bit of heat. Got some water boiling there, and it's pretty toasty. It's in the 80s. Yeah. I start shedding some layers. But definitely don't think I'm gonna need a 0-degree quilt tonight. I've got it just in case. Which, when you hot tent camp, you always need to prepare for the worst weather that you're going to encounter, because normally with a stove, that's just going to run for like a couple hours and then it's going to go out, and it's a good way for you to stay warm when you go to bed, and then start one up in the morning with the coals that are left over, and you know, warm up and get breakfast. But in a majority of the night when you're sleeping, you've got to rely on your sleeping gear to stay warm. You can do tricks like hot water bottles and stuff in your sleeping bag if you're in like ground situation. If you're in a hammock, it's a little different. things kind of shift around a little more. But anywho, just trying out the diesel heater, which will give me, as long as the battery lasts, long overnight source of heat. And you know, it seemed like it was cranking it up to at least 70 something in here with that, so that's not too bad. Went outside a little bit earlier, heard some scurrying around, couldn't tell if it was a person dorking around from the neighborhood again, if it was one of those druggies from an apartment complex across the way. I heard some weird stuff last year when I was hot tenting out here too. Concrete blocks scooching. That's usually something big doing that. It's not a small little squirrel or something. So yeah, keep wondering if I got some a-hole out there that's trespassing on my property at night. But missing firewood and other stuff, you know, blocks that seem to be missing after you know, a while. The pile keeps getting shorter and shorter. So I wouldn't doubt it if somebody's over here. I need to put the cameras back up. But anywho, that is what it is. Took the thermal camera out, scoped around the neighborhood here. Didn't really see anything, but I don't know, there was something out there scurrying, making a bit of noise for a while, and when I went to look around, I couldn't find it. So, you know, it is what it is. But I think when you're camping, worst thing you probably got to deal with is if you have food in your tent and you got some hungry animal trying to come after you, or the more likely culprit of stuff you got to worry about is humanity. You know, you got some crazy psycho out there, you know, trying to axe you in the middle of the night or something. That's more what I would worry about. But yeah. A nice train a couple blocks over, so it's your midnight train to Georgia. So I'm just enjoying the heat here, you know, outside of just some of the BS going on out in the neighborhood. You know, in here it's not too bad. Nice little sanctuary. And unfortunately though, people see the light and the glow, they probably get curious about it, you know. They hear things every once in a while. I get some crazy neighbors across the way that they always seem to be up till like 2 or 3 in the morning, or sitting in their car with their lights on at night for God knows how long. I don't know what they're doing in there, but just kind of weirdos. But anywho, at least they don't mow the grass 7 days a week like my other neighbors. You know who you are. So I think I'm just gonna wind down and get ready for bed and call it a night. I thought about some ramen, but I'm just gonna have some hot tea and just relax, go to bed. Catch you in a bit. Oh, good morning, everybody. Or should I say middle of the night. So it's after 2 in the morning, and it is a toasty, I don't know if you can see that or not, about 70 degrees in here. Man, had to turn the heater down a little bit because it's so warm. I haven't even been sleeping in the covers. Just kind of got the, you know, foot box with my feet in it, and then the rest of me, I just took the top quilt off to the side and had to get me a drink of water as I get in a little dry throat. And yeah, it's, you know, about 2:11 right now, and turned it down from 3 to 2, I think, on setting, and so it's still pretty warm in here. But I mean, I'm sure this under quilt is probably gonna get a little, let's feel it. Yeah, it's warm, it's maybe a little sweaty, But it's definitely gonna have a little moisture in it from just body perspiration, just, you know, vaporizing into it. So yeah, slept pretty good for a while, and melatonin I took earlier kind of kicked out, so I'm just gonna probably use the facilities in the middle of the night and go back to bed, and hopefully no weirdo stalkers are outside. Every once in a while I hear some sticks cracking and popping and stuff out here, so I don't know. That don't seem normal. It's probably the ghost. Yep. Ghost of the dead neighbor who killed himself with asphyxiation, carbon dioxide. So, you know, hopefully the same doesn't happen to me with the diesel fumes, right? No, the heater's been pretty good. It's clean air now. I think earlier when I tried the plastic pipe, that off-gassed a little bit. With this metal pipe, it doesn't seem so bad. But like when I'd come in from outside the tent and come in, it just kind of had, you know, like a potato chip smell or something a little bit. And I would say earlier too, when I was around the stove, that gas canister, I think, vaporized a little bit from the seal and getting too warm or something, and it was misty in here, and then the paint might have off-gassed it a little bit, but I can't remember. I thought I burned that in, so I don't know. Outside of those, once I aired it out, things were fine, so I haven't really noticed anything else. So, yeah. I guess I'm gonna sign off again and see you guys in the morning. So I did what I had to do in the middle of the night, and heard some more popping and clanging and stuff around. There's something out there. I don't know what the heck it is or who it is, but yeah, it's like I hear the noises from both sides. So I don't know. I hear a little bit of stuff, you know, with the tent moving, but some of these noises are like further out, and kind of like pops and stuff like that. So I don't know. I always think I got a firewood thief because my pile keeps diminishing too quickly. And I turned the heater down a little bit earlier to 2 hertz instead of 3 hertz, and I when it was at 5, it was cranking really good earlier in the night. But I turned it down to 3 before I went to bed, and the wood stove was still cranking a little bit of heat. There's still a few fine coals glowing in the wood stove, you know, a few hours later. And right now, with the heater being down on 2, where I lowered it when I woke up, it seems to be kind of in that hot cold zone, you know, where you start to not feel like toasty warm anymore, but you got just this little hint of coolness in the air. So I'm thinking for a structure this size, you know, it's like 12 feet at the peak, and then the body is probably at the ground maybe 8 feet, 9 feet, somewhere like that. I don't know. I'll say it's, yeah, maybe it's, so looking at the walls. I'll say at least 8 feet, because I'm just thinking a ridge line on 11-foot hammock's probably like 9 foot something, 9.5 foot, and it tapers in, you know, at an angle, so it's probably like 8 feet wide. And then the other dimension, I don't know, probably 10 feet, 12 feet, something like that, going the other way. But I mean, this is type of shelter that if you had cots in here, you'd probably be able to sleep 4 people in here easily, you know, and you'd have some room. So it gives you a good idea of, you know, the space in this hot tent. So medium sized, you know, get a little more volume and stuff up here, but it's probably at least medium sized. I'll be curious to see how this does in like an 8-man or a 16-man teepee. So I'll end up trying those sometime with the diesel heater and just see, you know, how well it keeps up with that. And two, I mean, right now the temperature outside's probably like, well, let's see, what is it? Let's update. 32 degrees. Woo! Right at freezing. At 2:32 in the morning. So it's all right. But I mean, considering it's still about 70-ish or so in here, might be a little cooler now with that being down. If I can find my stuff here. Yeah, 67 degrees is what it's telling me now. So yeah, it's cooling down a little bit. With a 3, it's very toasty comfortable. With a 2, you got just that little cool crispness. So that can be good or bad. Bad if you have breathing problems, COPD, snore, all that stuff. You're going to be getting cooler air in, so you could end up winding up with a, you know, sore, raspy throat when you wake up. Well, on the other hand, you're not going to be sweating your tootsies off, so just kind of depends what you want, what you feel comfortable with. But I'd say this heater's proven itself pretty well so far tonight, and all the reviews I've seen with that 5-liter tank, you know, a little over a gallon. I probably got about a gallon worth of fuel in it right now when I filled it up today, but people talked like, oh yeah, it'll burn, you know, maybe a quarter of a tank or something overnight, which if that's the case, that's not bad, but yeah, we'll see. Cranking it up at a higher speed, it's probably going to burn through it faster. So if I burn a half a tank, you know, maybe that'll be the case, but I'll find out morning time and see how it does over an extended period. But yep, finally got a long, cozy heat. I don't have any fumes. I don't have any condensation or water vapor forming in here. That's one of the things when I've used the little Coleman catalytic heater, the white gas one. It made some fumes, just a little bit, and definitely makes water vapor. They don't seem to keep up heat-wise because they're like 5,000 to 8,000 BTUs. I think this thing can kick out a max of like 17,000 BTUs, but right now I'm not cranking out that many. I'm down on lower settings, so it's probably in that 8,000 or something BTU setting right now. I don't know, but it's comfortable. Portable buddy heaters run on propane. They're nice and cozy, but there you got to have a 20-pound tank to last the night, or at least a 5-pound tank. Those little 1-pounders, you're going to burn out on those pretty quick, unless you got the real small portable, you know, one that's pointing up, little portable buddy. But if you got the one that holds 2 tanks, nah, that sucker's going to burn out in a few hours, and then you'll be cold as heck. Been there, done that. So I'll say this one's gonna be a pretty good option for staying power. I still gotta work out the power options for it because it draws 40 watts of power. So I'm still looking at ordering new wiring that would go to a regular 12 volt DC plug. And since this thing's gonna probably be cranking 4 amps, I need to make sure that whatever fusing options are in there, that you know, I'm not burning anything up plastic-wise or circuit-wise, or, you know, overloading a jackery or whatever I end up using. I'll have to look at the specs on there to see how many watts that 12 volt plug can handle. And then I'm thinking the fuse on the wiring that I had before, the SAE connector to the 12 volt plug, that fuse probably blew out because I started losing connectivity on the hot side. And then I had polarity reversal issues and everything else. I had to like change my color of my terminals to make it right. And so yeah, I just figure if I get one that's just a straight shot, lugs to the DC, I don't have to dork around with something being a different polarity, and get something that's rated for, you know, quite a few amps. Hopefully I'll have some luck, but those would be definitely a lot lighter option to carry a lithium-ion bank than one of these big lead-acid batteries that's pretty heavy. If there was a way of having, say, a 500 watt-hour battery bank that I could run off of just straight wire or something, that'd be great. Looked at trying to get some sort of 12 volt converter. I looked at a battery charger, but I think it needs a certain load for it to operate, because when I tried putting a multimeter onto it, I was getting like, I don't know, 3 to 20, it was jumping around, millivolts of output, and I wasn't getting any 12 volt output or anything on it. So I think it's got a sense line, and it, you know, detects the load and then it applies the power. So on those, I'm not sure if they would kick out any power for these or not, but that could be an option too. But those run off of AC, convert to DC, but I think it had a 2 amp maximum output. So at 12 volts, 2 amps, that's only, what, 24 watts. This thing requires 40. So there too, I don't know if it would have enough oomph to be able to run it all night. One thing I did know was online, they were talking about these, you know, some people in the RVs were trying to run them off of their main battery, and then other people had auxiliary batteries. Auxiliary battery is probably a good idea, so you don't drain your main battery and then get stranded somewhere, because you could always have a charge system for your auxiliary battery, either when you're going down the road or with solar or something, you know, and you'd be able to you know, use that, and, you know, wouldn't be too bad. So it was a dark and stormy night. So yep, I think I'm gonna try to lay back down and go back to bed and just enjoy the night, and hopefully nobody kills me in my sleep. So alright, signing off again. Good morning. So I survived the night. Oh. Looks like it's Late for work time. Not too bad in here. Let me get this. Had the heater on 2. It got down to 56, 57-ish in here. Turn it up a little bit and warm up and get something for breakfast. Skedaddle out of here. Well, now that I'm up, I guess I'm gonna get cleaned up and heading to work. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this little adventure, and I'll probably have a few more like this. Thinking of maybe trying out the heater in a larger hot tent as well, and see how it goes. So it warmed up a little bit. It's like 65 in here now, since I got the heater on 3. 65. So not too bad. I'd say probably keep it at midpoint, you know, if you got moderate insulation. If you got better insulation, you can put the heater down on a lower setting, make it a little cooler, kind of whatever your preference is. Yeah, be curious to see, like I said, how it fares out in a really large volume. Like 16-man tents, like, I don't know, 12.5 feet tall and 21 feet diameter. That sucker I'd probably have to put it on 5. Keep the whole thing warm, but I could probably put a hammock and a stand in that thing and hammock camp in a different way. I'll catch you guys again in the outdoors. Give me a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. $1 million, whatever you want to do. Ooh, cool, brisk morning. Look at all that frost on the ground over there. Oh, baby. She's a beauty, all right. It's a nice little 3.5-pound shelter there. I'll tell you what, if I had a choice between this shelter and the one that Pomali has that's in canvas, this one's a lot lighter. I guarantee you that. Backpack it in, put a ultralight seek outside stove in there, and you'd be all right. Looks like I did use a pretty good amount of fuel last night. Had this thing cranking since early evening time, late afternoon, you know, so it's been more than 12 hours of use on this, that's for sure. And I had it filled up, not too close to the top, but it was up quite a bit, more than a gallon in there. And yeah, I'd say there's less than 1/4 of a gallon for sure in there right now. It worked. Well, everybody, I got the elusive E8 message. So I guess I might have run out of fuel. I know I was pretty low. Well, there's still a little bit in there, but might not be enough to get sufficient amount through there. I'll have to fill that up anyways later. Well, everybody, if you like what you've seen, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you again in the outdoors. As always, thanks for watching.